How you doing, people? Welcome to the Rubin Report. I'm still Dave Rubin. I've got Erin Foley and Maz Jobrani with me, and let's get right to it. Have you heard about the camel? People are freaking out about the camel in Pakistan. Let's take a look at the camel, and then we'll talk about the camel. This is that's not a real camel. Don't worry about that. That's not some sort of Star Wars camel. This is a sculpture of a camel that is going to cost the U.S. State Department $400,000 to put at our American embassy being built in Islamabad, Pakistan, and it is causing an uproar. So let's first go to the State Department's official document explaining why this camel is worth $400,000. This artist's product is uniquely qualified. Public art which will be presented in the new embassy should reflect the values of a predominantly Islamist country. That's according to the State Department. Okay, that sounds fine to me. And just as a little side note, also in the Bible and in the Quran, they both use the metaphor of a camel passing through the eye of a needle. So there's some religious background there. They're not just randomly picking something. But you know what? The $400,000 seems like a lot. Apparently we have some economic problems here. And Representative Jason Chaffetz, he's not happy about this. The American people have a right to know that their tax dollars are being spent responsibly, especially for art that the vast majority of U.S. citizens will never have the opportunity to view. And basically there's been a whole big Twitter firestorm, as there is about everything. $400,000 for a camel. Maz, you're Persian, so you know a bit about this this area of the world, so take it away.
Well, first of all, it's kind of racist, I think, to have a camel art piece in Pakistan. It's like, they'll like, you know, what are you going to go to Africa and put a watermelon there? I mean, what are we doing here, people, State Department? That's number one. And secondly, yeah, it's a lot of money. I should have gotten into art.
Yeah.
Just a camel?
Why are you doing stand-up?
I don't know. You know, I host a lot of art events, and I don't know if you guys as comics would host any art events, and the money that they spend on some of these things, and I'm just sitting there, and obviously, because you sit there and you go, I could have done that. It's just paint on a canvas. Yeah. But somehow this person became hot, and that's how much it's worth. And I'm sure when people watch me do stand-up, a lot of times they go, I can do that. We're paid for this.
Yeah.
So,
well, the key, of course, is to cut your ear off, and then your art value goes way up. Erin, I know you're you don't like to spend the money. Am I right? You're a strict conservative when it comes to Americans spending money. I completely made that up. But do you think $400,000 is too much for this type of thing?
Well, you know, it's a camel. I just thought, like, you know, Americans, we pride ourselves on knockoffs. Like, I feel like you could give me like 10 grand, I could build you a camel. Yeah. It's ridiculous, $400,000. Like, if you take the whole needle out of it, it's just like a stupid ceramic camel. It's ridiculous.
I mean, how much is a real camel? I mean, that's got to be.
That's funny. We should have just had a pen with real camels.
You just just have a few camels when you arrive at the embassy in Pakistan, and then that's when you really would go, oh, I'm in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
that's
it's like
Egypt, isn't? Where?
The other thing is, like, is it a Trojan camel? Are we going to hide like CIA spies inside the camel? Then late at night we're going to saw through it and be like, we're going to get the bad guys. Pow, pow, pow.
Erin, I think that's what it is. Maybe that's why they're paying the money, because then they go, hey, Mr. General Musharraf of Pakistan.
Is he back?
Well, no, he's not, but he's on trial. But they go, hey, General so-and-so, hey, why don't you take this camel home for a week? And he's like, oh, of course, I will do it.
And then they go through it.
And then we'll get their secrets. That's what it is.
Yeah, it might be a Trojan camel. It's the only thing I could think of, that it was $400,000. And then of course my second thought was, I obviously immediately have to be a sculptor tomorrow morning.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
I knew we could bring this to the NSA somehow. Yeah. Is this one of these things, though, where the government is always spending a shitload of money on everything, every embassy everywhere? So I don't even think this has anything to do with Pakistan and the camel. Like, they're doing this all the time. So should we ever get upset about this? Or is this exactly what we should get upset about, because we're just pissing money away everywhere?
As long as we don't have to mention Benghazi, then I think we're fine. Maybe they're trying to be like, oh, well, Hillary's going to run. How do we get out of the Benghazi? Let's do $400,000 on a camel and another embassy.
Well, they said, I read the article. They said they have some sort of budget set aside for art. I didn't know. That's kind of cool.
No textbooks. Yeah. No textbooks.
Yeah.
But and also it said, the $400,000 price tag is actually a very reduced price for this sculpture. I'm like, it's a camel.
Yeah, which I really find that hard to believe that anyone gave the U.S. government a reduced price on any. Has the U.S. government ever bought anything at a reduced price?
Well, no, they do. I mean, what this guy is saying is that's what blows your mind. You're like, wait, some a-hole paid even more for the camel?
Right.
But they're like, yeah, we got a better.
And you know, they came up with the whole needle metaphor, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, all right, well, the camel's just a camel, but if we stick a needle and then, you know, we bring it from the Bible and the correct, like, I just can't, like, that sculpture must be like, this is the greatest day.
What the needle means? I have it written right here. So it's the camel contemplating needle, which is, so the camel's made of fiberglass. And it's a play on the New Testament phrase about the difficulty that the wealthy have entering heaven. Of course, the wealthy are the only ones that can afford a $400,000 camel, so I don't know if that's lost on people.
The artist wasn't thinking about this when he like busted out a camel. You know what I mean? It's like we were like, all right, let's get the needle and make this work. Like he was just like, I'm gonna make a camel.
No, but it's also funny what you just said is true. It's like it's this metaphor of like, you know, the poor shall inherit the earth, but only the rich can actually buy the camel to actually be like, isn't that interesting?
Look at the metaphor that we can afford that you guys can't.
You'll never be able to afford this camel.
Is this a really good argument, though, seriously, for lowering taxes? Because we just put endless tax money into everything, and then they just piss it away. So could this be something? I could see the Republicans, first off, because it's Pakistan, that scares people, but then also them saying, well, see, they're pissing your money away. And I think this is the type of thing that people might be like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing this.
Well, the question becomes again, what is it like if they've got a real budget set aside for? If it were like a thing where, like, you know, you guys know, like colleges will sometimes say we have to hire performers because we have this money set aside, and if we don't use it, we lose it. So maybe that's if it's that situation where the guy's like, I have to spend $400,000. What can we find? He's like, we got a camel, and he's like, all right, let's get the camel. He doesn't care. He don't care. So if it's that situation, then maybe we got to go, well, why are we putting such a big budget on art at the embassy in Pakistan? Although you do want to make the embassy look nice. Can't just be pictures of presidents and stuff. But, you know, I don't know. All
right, so we talked a lot about the 1% on the show, and an interesting study came out by Sadoff Investment Research breaking down some of the economics of what's going on in America today. So this is from 2012. The average household income of Americans is about $30,000. The average household of the top 1%ers is about $1.2 million, which is 41 times the average family's income. The average household of the top 0.1% is about $6 million, which is 206 times the average family's income. So what I think is interesting about this is that, you know, when you think of the 1%, I think people think these are the people that have, like, you know, an armada of planes and houses everywhere, et cetera, et cetera. Now they do have over $1 million, which I think probably we all aspire to have, and this is America, and everybody should have something. But should we be focusing more on that 0.1% than the 1%? Because that 0.1, that $6 million, that's sort of where you're getting into the ultra rich, although even that is still leaving out all the Zuckerbergs and the people that really have the big power. I've given you a lot to chew on there.
Well, I don't know where to begin. I never think about the 1%. I mean, like it's so, like after that number gets so large, it's like it's absolutely meaningless to me. It's like you make $6 million a year. I'm like, great, it could be $6 billion. I mean, I don't know, like it's so ridiculous. My first thought was like, well, you know, it said like on Obama's watch. I'm like, well, I guess the only good information is if it was on a Republican's watch, we'd be talking about the 0.001 making 12 million a year or something like that. You know, there's only so much you can do, but at the end of the day, everyone's got these sweet notions that like, oh, our country was founded on democracy. It's capitalism. I mean, capitalism trumps democracy, and you can't really blame people for going in, you know, into these money markets, into these hedge fund jobs. They want to make a lot of money. That's their thing, and they make a lot of money. And it's like, it's a really hard point. You just hope that at the end of the day, you hope that they give back, right? That you're making all this money, that maybe you can take, you know, your personal wealth and do good things with it. And if you don't, you just hope, you know, that they're miserable, you know, that they're horrible, miserable people.
But are they ever miserable? That's the question. No, they're never miserable, are they?
$6 million. First of all, no. Look, it's the things that I remember when Warren Buffett was saying at one point, I think when the economy was crashing, that based on the taxes he was paying, because a lot of his income was off of investments, he was paying like, I don't know, like 15%.
Right.
Whereas like normal people are paying like 30, 40%. So he was making a point about that, first of all, about, you know, the thing of taxing the rich a little bit more and finding ways to get money from them. And then the other thing was, I just heard yesterday, it was saying some company, I forget what the company was, one of these big companies.
Caterpillar.
Was a Caterpillar, was underpaid like $2 billion in taxes or something because they found ways to do it.
They moved all their profits to a Swiss bank account, basically.
Yeah, so that's where you go, that's where you get upset. You go, oh dude, like I'm paying, every dollar I make, I'm paying 50 cents of that to the government, and there's these big companies that are finding loopholes. So that's where you go, come on man, you know, let's spread a little bit of that wealth.
I always thought that the Warren Buffett thing was kind of interesting because he would always say, well, my secretary is paying a higher tax than I am, which always made me think, well, why are you paying her so little? You know what I mean? Like, if you'd pay her more, then she'd be closer to your tax bracket. She'd be doing okay.
If he paid her with stocks, then she would pay, then she would not pay, then she'd pay less taxes, but it's income.
Yeah.
So that's where you get screwed.
Yeah. So the part that you brought up is what this article that was analyzing this was also saying is that this gap between the ultra rich and the poor has gotten significantly bigger under Obama. And I think we all think somehow that it's the Republicans that are really bad about this, but this is one of these things where Obama has dropped the ball because the facts are the facts.
Well, I don't know if he's dropped the ball. I just don't know how much he can do. You know, in a way, it's like you talk about Wall Street reform. Well, Wall Street, that money fuels lobbyists and it fuels Congress. Like, there's only so much you're going to do to stop this money. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's, you know, it's like that thing when they were like, oh, Oprah, you should run for president. You know, you're like the most popular woman on the planet. And she's like, well, why would I give up all that power? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if you can blame Obama constantly. I mean, on Obama's election night, all the bigwig Republicans like got in that room and they're like, we're going to do one thing, we're going to block everything that he intends to do, and they have, or they've been very successful at that. So I don't know if you can keep going back to
this Obamacare.
I don't think they like black people.
Well, that's that too. No, it's naive to think that one person is going to make be able to run everything, and all you got to do is watch House of Cards, and you realize the vice president could be pulling the strings, you know, and there's a lot of things that are, backdoor deals being made, and it's a systemic thing, unfortunately, you know, and a lot of other countries do tax, you pay more taxes, but you don't have homeless people, for example. So it's the choice that we have to make. Do we want to pay less taxes and have homeless people, or pay more taxes and not have homeless people?
Was that House of Cards reference your way of telling us that you think Biden has killed someone?
I think Biden has definitely killed someone, and it's a great show.
Yeah, it is a pretty great show. How should we generally feel about these super rich people? I'm not even talking about that 1% then, the 6 million people, you know, the people that are bringing in $6 million a year. I'm talking about the billionaire people. Should we be, like this George Soros this week just met with all the potential Republican 2016 guys, and it's like they have to go kiss the ring of just some rich guy.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sick, right?
Well, I mean, this morning it comes down to we have now less, restrictions on who can pay who to run for election. It's just,
thank you, Supreme Court.
Yeah, thank you, Supreme Court. Way to reel it in, Supreme Court. So now I can give my, $10 to the Democrats. I don't know. It's so, it is when you really think about it, you feel powerless and it's really horribly discouraging. But then you're like, oh, there's a sale on wine. And that solves a lot of my problems when I think about the super rich.
Yeah. So how do you feel about
it? No, it's like, listen, man, if they made the money and they want to do what they want to do, they can do it. It's just the one thing that you do start worrying about is if the disparity continues, then if you look at history, every revolution many revolutions is based on economics. Yeah. So eventually there's going to be a breaking point. And so I think at some point the country does need to step back and go, okay, we can't have that many more people that are poor and this few that are rich, because eventually something will give.
206 times the amount of the average income these people are making.
Seems like a bit much.
Yeah, and the loopholes, it's infuriating. And now, it's unfortunate, but now everyone's armed. So, I mean, it could happen.
It could happen.
Well, on that positive note,
hey, happy Wednesday.
As Erin mentioned, the Supreme Court made a horrific decision this morning, which is even going to put more money into the political system. We'll talk about that next week, but let's move on. Did you know that Darth Vader, the evil Sith Lord, is running for president of the Ukraine But don't take my word for it, we've got video proof.
При новом порядке наши самые сокровенные убеждения будут надежно защищены. Мы будем хранить наши идеалы силой оружия. Мы не уступим и пяти нашей земли.
Okay, well, he's got my vote. All right, so this is actually only partially a joke. So Darth Vader, this guy did run in 2012. He was not on the ballot, but he got 3% of the write-ins, which is completely insane. They threw that out because they don't even count the write-ins, but he did get 3%. That's a pretty decent percentage for a Sith Lord. What are some of his political actions? Let's find out. In 2013, he was carried in a sedan chair by a group of Imperial stormtroopers to Odessa City Hall, declaring himself acting mayor of the city, citing an order by Emperor Palpatine. And as I said, he scored a record 3% of the vote in 2012 parliamentary election, and the votes were never registered because they were write-ins, which rendered them void under Ukrainian law. But this actually is becoming something. He's running on the Ukrainian Internet Party. And and you'll love this. So to run, you have to raise $236,000. The party has already done that for him. So yes, this is obviously a joke, and we can be jokey about it. But he's actually doing this too. So is this sort of what we needed to like get a little sense out of the Ukraine thing? Because everybody's talking about it here, and nobody's sure what's going on. Can Star Wars give us a little momentary?
Oh, yeah. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to politics. I mean, I want to, like, raise some money, and then, you're a big Golden Girls fan. We'll all, try to run for election as our favorite Golden Girl.
I mean,
there's so many.
I would vote for Betty White.
Oh my God, I would totally.
For Secretary of State.
I'd vote for all of them. I think it's absolutely, it's so absurd. I mean, Putin is so absurd. The whole situation is so absurd. So why not have Darth Vader? It's amazing how James Earl Jones can throw his voice like that. Really, it's pretty.
I mean, the guy's voice was pretty good.
Speaks Ukrainian or Russian? What would that be?
I don't even. I was like, well, what is it? Was it Ukrainian?
I think it was Ukrainian.
Nazdrovya. That's all I know.
Do you think Putin actually envies this guy a little? Putin sort of would like to rule like Darth Vader, right?
Putin is a badass. He just crushes people.
Right.
So I think that he probably saw this and he's like, "You will destroy Darth Vader for me." Like he's even more evil.
Yeah.
Which actually made me think like the guy, it would be interesting if they got like a Mark Hamill lookalike and said Luke Skywalker is running. Then there's like the good. That could be kind of fun.
People are drawn to the dark side, though, right? If you were going to vote for one or the other, you'd probably vote dark side.
Well, they're all dark. I mean, the whole Bush administration, access to evil came.
Yeah.
It was all Star Wars. I honestly think that's how they explained it to George Bush. That like, I'm serious. I honestly think that they were like, look, this. Okay, Saddam Hussein is like Darth Vader, and you are. I'm serious. And he's like, I get it. He's like, I get it.
Oh wait, I've seen those films.
Yeah, it's like evil. I get it. That's evil.
You know what? Well, in Revenge of the Sith, there was the big line that Bush said about you're either with us or against us. And Revenge of the Sith, which came out after that, they said it. I mean, Anakin Skywalker says it to Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end. You're either with me or you're my enemy.
Spaceballs with he's like, are you still playing with your puppets, Captain? No, that's it's just now. Is Darth Vader? Is this like a third party or is it?
So it's the Ukrainian Internet Party. But I mean, they're actually raising the money. Do we need a little of this in our political system? It's such a mess here. Do we need some like joke, like either a comedian to run or something crazy like this to really? We've had what's his name in Minnesota? We've had Al Franken in Minnesota.
And Arnold, he passed away now. Gary Coleman ran for something. Didn't he run for?
I think he did run for something.
What you talking about, Willis? That was
his whole platform.
Yes, we talk about taxes.
Yes, we can, Willis. That was his whole thing.
No,
what
really.
Are you talking about the 0.1%?
Do we need like something like that to shake up our system? It's so broken, right?
It's so interesting to me because like the situation in Ukraine is so tenuous and it's so. It's really like we haven't seen this type of like aggression in a long time. We've seen the aggression between like you know, I was just about to say North and South Dakota, North and South Korea.
There's a lot of
but there is tension.
There's a lot going on there. And when will those North Dakotans let their people leave?
I like how you tapped Maz when you said that. Like, you're from North Dakota.
Yeah.
aren't
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you know, a country like taking over just flat out, like, oh, I'm going to take this land, and you better be careful. We're going to put, you know, our guards on your border and stuff. So it's so serious, and it's so like, oh my God, what's going to happen day to day, that it's a little bit surprising to me that there is a Darth Vader, like, oh, and hey, listen, we got to, you know, and we also have Darth Vader.
So isn't
like,
that kind of inspiring, though?
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
that
guess
seem
so,
like
because
kind of
it's
great
so-
to you?
I think
Yeah.
it's great. I think Darth Vader should be in every election.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really do think that Darth Vader.
Darth Vader should run in every country.
He should run in every
my
country.
God,
You'd vote
yes.
for Darth Vader.
Yeah, it would be amazing. You know how many people, honest to God, you know how many Americans would raise money and would vote? They would. They would
yeah.
totally. They're so sick of both parties.
Yeah.
They're so. If you had maybe like not a Darth Vader, but if you had like an American folk hero,
Right.
Like I don't know, like someone like a little bit more positive than Darth Vader.
An American folk hero, so
Like,
like a Ted Nugent.
Listen,
No.
Listen, I ran for 8th grade representative in junior high school, and I was the only one running. There was no, so I had to win. I had to win. I was
Yeah.
going to win.
Yeah.
And I got all the votes except one person that write in, and they wrote in Donald Duck. So I think if Donald Duck ran,
Donald Duck.
somebody
ran.
like that.
Yeah,
Somebody
someone
like
like a
Donald
feel-good. I'm telling you, they would raise a lot of money and they would get really far because people are so sick of what's happening in like Congress. They're so sick of both parties. Like if someone,
I'm
if
with you.
Donald Duck ran.
Yeah, I believe it. Final thought on this. What do you think George Lucas thinks when he sees this stuff? Like, he just had this idea around 1974, this little space idea, and it became this thing that is so beyond bonkers, huge culturally,
Yeah.
now politically. You think he watches this stuff and he's like, this is some crazy shit?
Oh, it's great. I mean, of course. Can you think? I mean, like, you know, if you ever have, you know, you do a TV show or you do a stand-up thing or you're on a show or something, somebody runs up to you and goes, hey, I saw you in. You're like, oh, thank you very much. You know, I mean, can you imagine the level that this guy's at? His characters are running for the. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. He created a character that wanted
Yeah.
to rule the universe, and now he has a guy actually running.
Yeah. Well, how about Superman? Superman could run for president of the United States. I mean, people love Superman.
I'm into it. I think Superman. I think anyone. I mean, that's what. If you did it like American Idol style,
Yeah.
you could end up with the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Like, is like
Yeah.
if you get the like people
We end up
voting.
with the wrong people anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I mean,
yeah.
like Christina Aguilera could be running the country because
Yeah.
someone could be like,
Yeah.
I'm voting.
Well, we need a lady.
There you go.
I don't know about her, but.
Christina Aguilera, 2016. There you go. Oh, good God. All right. Let's talk about e-cigarettes, because you've probably been seeing these commercials pop up all over the place for e-cigarettes as if they're somehow healthier than regular cigarettes. There seems to be some debate about that. But what's in e-cigarettes is liquid nicotine. It's the juice that's used to refill e-cigarettes. And it apparently has some fatal effects if it's ingested or absorbed by the skin, especially for children. Let's look at the liquid. Look at that. So that doesn't look like something that you'd want to be putting in your body. It looks very chemically and gross. And then you smoke it and you get no smoke. So okay. So according to the New York Times, if the liquid is ingested or absorbed, can lead to seizures and potentially death. That's not good. Even a teaspoon of highly diluted e-liquid can kill a small child. All right, let's look at a commercial for e-cigs in case you haven't seen one, and I think you're going to recognize the lady that's doing this.
You know, I love being single, but here's what I don't love: a kiss that tastes like an ashtray. Blech. I'm Jenny McCarthy, and I finally found a smarter alternative to cigarettes: Blue e-cigs. Blue satisfies me. I get to have a blue without the guilt because there's only vapor, not tobacco smoke. That means no ash, no odor, which also means I don't get the stink eye from others. Also, it doesn't make my hair smell, my teeth turn yellow. You get the idea. That's why I am in love with Blue e-cigs. Now that I've switched to Blue, I feel better about myself. And I feel free to have one almost anywhere. When I'm driving, at home, watching TV, or when I'm in the club. And no going outside in the rain or freezing my butt off just to take a puff. I can whip out my Blue and not worry about scaring that special someone away. You know what I'm saying? Finally, with Blue, I took back my freedom.
Okay, that commercial is just horrible. But that aside, let's just talk about Jenny McCarthy for just a second before we get into the real meat of this thing. Jenny McCarthy, everyone knows she's a huge proponent of the anti-vaccine thing. It's gotten her in a lot of trouble. Is it a little odd that someone would take such a strong stance on one thing that's medically controversial, and then she would lend her name to this? Could the great Jenny McCarthy be selling out for the e-cigarette money? Maz, what do you think?
It's very confusing, the whole thing, because first of all, yeah, I guess there's not enough research on this, and we're just kind of going with it. Is that what we're doing?
Which pretty much means it's going to kill you.
Yeah, and so if you're coming from that place of like, oh, because the vaccine thing, there's research saying it's good, there's research saying it's bad, and so there's a lot. But this thing has no research.
Right.
So it's kind of like
well, and the little bit it has shows that it's not good.
Yeah, they're like, hey, let's go with it. Go with it.
Yeah. But doesn't this? What is she thinking? Like, really, is this just purely one? Like, how does she think? You know, we all talk about sellouts and like, how does she possibly think she can make such a strong stand on one thing and then let's jump on this thing?
I think you're giving her too much credit. Like she's thinking ahead and making plans.
Yeah.
I'm
Does
happy
the View
for her
not
though
pay
because
the
it
money
said
that I
she
think it
took
does?
back. She took back her freedom. That was the last line. I had no idea she was been personally incarcerated in her own hell all these years. But the e-cigarettes overall, you know, finally a victory for traditional smokers. Unbelievable that like that's your thing now. It's like, oh, do the e-cigarette, and you're like, well, do you want me to die of cancer or kill a small child? There's so many
many options.
I thought we were advanced because there's some countries we can get away with this stuff where you go, just do this and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
And I thought we were a little more advanced, but I guess we're not. We're just like throwing stuff out and going, okay, we'll learn as we go.
Well, that's interesting.
So
is this
for
because
a while, right? Hasn't the e-cigarettes been out for a while?
So it's been for a while, but now it's the marketing, because now it's the commercials that are popping up. So is this really just because of our love of technology? Like they figured out a way, they were like, oh, cigarettes are killing everybody, we got bad PR. Can we make this about technology? Everybody loves technology, and now it's blue and it's electric.
Well, also, but I mean, the way they sold it to you was all the stuff she listed was good. Oh, there's no smell, and that sounds good to me. I don't smoke. Great. If you want to do your thing, fantastic. And I thought when I first saw it, I thought it was more like kind of like a hookah bar where you go and I thought it was whatever. So I was like, oh, these people are just smoking a little bit of whatever.
I didn't realize
flavor.
it was liquid nicotine. That like liquid. If you're out at night and you trip over, let's say you're hammered, you trip over and your e-cigarette breaks, like all these babies around you die.
Yeah, all the babies that your entourage of babies, they're all gonna die.
I always roll with a big entourage of babies.
Do you guys think it's a little weird that they're allowing commercials for this? Because yes, the science isn't totally settled yet, but there obviously is some bad stuff going on here. We don't allow commercials for cigarettes. We haven't in a long time, but somehow they got around that because now they're electric.
That's a good point. Is this now? Are these commercials running on TV?
Yeah,
or are they?
These are on
they
TV.
are. Wow.
I've seen these commercials.
Are these?
On TV.
Is this company owned by Camel or one Philip Morris? There's got to be one of these cigarette companies has got to be involved with this.
That is a good question.
Or
I don't know the answer.
Mobil.
Or Exxon's got it. Somebody bad has to.
Someone bad.
The Dark Lord.
Yeah.
Also, like it seems like it needs like one of those Saturday Night Live spoof scrolls at the end. It's like this e-cigarette could cause the small children to die. Like don't open it. Don't put it near. Like you know what I mean? What are the warnings?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of any of these warnings.
Yeah,
I mean,
the diarrhea, the attempted suicide, all that kind of stuff. What about the people that are going to say you have to let these e-cigarettes exist and we have to be able to advertise them because of freedom? What about those people? Are they right?
Listen, man, there should be some rules on what you got. You got to test this stuff, at least on mice, and somebody test it on something before you put. You can't just put it out. That's like half these pills. What you just said.
A smoking mouse. That's just ridiculous.
I would pay to see a smoking like a little mouse being like.
Cigarette and cheese.
Cigarette.
Yeah.
Do you find this? You're in comedy clubs all the time. I find it so annoying when people are smoking an e-cigarette. I literally say to them, I go, "You have one more puff." And that's it.
Really? Make them put it away.
It is the most, for me, it's the most, I look out, you're already having to deal with cell phones and people being like, you have to deal with like absolute chaos.
Yeah.
I wonder how stand-up works at all, quite frankly. And then someone smoking an e-cigarette, and I said to the lady, I was like, all right, please put that away. It's super distracting. And she goes, oh no, it's an e-cigarette. And I go, I don't care what it is. Like, just you're gonna need to stop immediately.
Yeah.
Like it's so annoying. There's puffs of smoke.
really
Yeah.
It's an e-cigarette.
All right, so you guys aren't going to be joining the e-cigarette. Do you think anyone that doesn't smoke is going to join this? That's what I think is interesting here. Like, are they only marketing to the people that smoke cigarettes, or are they actually trying to hook a new generation?
Oh, I think they're trying to hook a new
Oh, yeah,
generation
of
for
course.
sure.
Yeah.
Jenny
Yeah.
McCarthy with her boobs hanging out and her face that's been realigned. I think people are going to be like, oh, she's a hot blonde. I don't want to smell like smoke. You know, I'm going to do, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if she would say in that commercial, and look, it tightened up my face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then, oh my God.
I'd be like, all right, I got to start smoking.
All right, from cigarettes to air, let's talk about the air in China, which you guys probably have seen a lot about. We've done a couple stories on it. Residents of Zhengzhou, which is the pollution-racked capital of China's Henan province, well, last Saturday they got a treat. They were provided with bright blue bags of fresh air. Yeah, this sounds made up or from a comedy movie, but not the case. Let's take a look. So yeah, they got to go up into a nearby mountain where the air originated. It's about 120 miles away from the city that they live in. And they got to suck down some air for a while, pretty good. And what you can see on the right there, this is actual canned air. That is a can of air that they're selling. They're actually selling that in China. And what did that remind me of? Well,
as president of Planet Spaceball, I can assure both you and your viewers that there's absolutely no air shortage whatsoever. Yes, of course. I've heard the same rumor myself. Yes, thanks for calling and not reversing the charges. Yes, bye. Shithead.
President screwed.
yeah, that's Mel Brooks predicting the future in Spaceballs. I can't believe you made a Spaceballs
Right?
reference
This
even
is
before.
Two on one show.
I've been doing this show for
it's
a year.
my favorite movie probably of all time.
It is.
Merchandising.
Yeah, the merchandising. All right, so we'll do a little jokey, and then this is actually pretty serious.
Yeah.
Is this crazy? Like, is this actually nuts that there are parts of this planet right now where they are living in so much smog? You know, we've seen pictures where it looks like fog, but it's actually smog. It is pure pollution that they have to go to a mountain 120 miles away to get air.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't giving you the funny part first.
No,
Go.
the best line, it says, China's province received a treat on Saturday.
treat?
Oh my
a
God.
treat.
Quote, yeah.
Like it really has changed my perspective on treats, you know? I'm always like, let's go to Del Taco, it'll be a treat. And they're like, can we just get some air?
Yeah, you like your
Like,
electric cigarette, but little did you know it's air.
It's so frightening.
Yeah.
It's so frightening. They're like, hey, we've got a special thing for our citizens, air.
Air.
Well, it's like,
It's
you know, you tell,
horrible.
like, I have kids, you tell kids, like, you gotta eat it. There's people starving in Africa. I was like, you better breathe this air. There's people with no air in China.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's frightening. Absolutely frightening.
But the can was kind of cool. It was the can would look so pleasant. It,
Yeah.
it would look like
But doesn't a can seem like a bad way to get air? The other one where you're sucking on the thing, it
Ruining the
makes
environment,
sense.
causing more pollution with aluminum.
Aluminum. It's like an aerosol
Yeah,
can
yeah.
just spraying
Yeah.
air.
They should do an e-cigarette air cigarette.
Yes.
Where you get nicotine and air, so it's good and bad.
We have to find the Asian Jenny McCarthy.
Yes.
So sad. If you don't know what we're talking about right now, we're going to annotate to the story before this. But cigarettes and air, it's all coming in one big thing. Is this what can we do? Because obviously this has something to do with the amount of pollution that's going up into the atmosphere.
Stop buying products from China.
Is that really? So should we all do we all have iPhones? Do you have an iPhone?
Yes, but mine was
iPhone. Okay, so we all have
mine was made somewhere else.
You just have 9 in a box. You don't even touch
I
them.
just I want to keep the Chinese employed, so I keep buying an iPhone.
But what do we do this? Because they're going through their industrial revolution now, much like India. We've done it already. So do we have any right to tell them what to do? Because look, I mean, this air eventually is going to get over here. We know that the water from Fukushima is coming to our the west coast of the United States right now. Like, we're all connected. So what do we do?
Stop farting.
No more fart. The cow farts. That
Cow
is
farts
another.
are not good.
Yeah.
Cow farts are bad.
So they could tell us that.
You got to tell the cows to stop farting.
I'm gonna start showering with bottled water. Well, yeah, it's really disturbing that China's go-to is not to like, all right, let's crack down on the pollution. Let's really, figure out how we can do air quality. Let's rein it in. It's like, ship these people on a bus to like a higher area. here's a little treat, then get back down there.
It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like when the emergency landing system on an airplane.
Yeah, can we throw the image up again? Let's throw the image up again for just a second.
I mean, that's
Should
sad.
this plane drop in altitude?
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
It does look like that. But
Yeah.
can you imagine, I mean, you know, look, it's easy, we can joke about it, but I mean, these poor people had to actually leave their homes and travel 120 miles into a mountain for air. I mean, this is happening on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Is this just like proof of every science fiction movie ever? I mean, every week we do a story that I feel like science fiction is actually coming true right now. Like,
absolutely.
like we are destroying our Earth,
Yeah.
and you know, we're going to have to move to Mars pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I was never one for investing in any type of space travel, honestly. I feel like I'm the only one that gets adamantly opposed to like anything NASA does, except for
You're
like
against space travel?
Well,
You don't like tanks?
I just was like,
What?
it feels
Haven't
to
you been
me
watching
so
Cosmos? Come on,
It
girl.
feels crazy to me that we spend like $1 billion on like what's on the moon, and no one has textbooks. Like it makes me insane. But then you hear these stories and you're like, oh well, we got to get out of this planet at some point. So
Yeah. Do we have to
Yeah.
leave the planet at some point?
Yes,
We're gonna have to get
yes,
outta here.
we do. We get a can of air, and you
Your
just it
cigarette
actually you go, and it just takes you.
So I thought this was really interesting. Scientists are using mood drugs to help adults learn new skills and improve cognitive function. Let's look at some info. A Harvard professor used donzepezil, a drug that's typically used to treat Alzheimer's, to rewire the brain of a visually impaired woman. After using the drug, the woman was able to process images the way a newborn would and eventually regain normal sight. He also used an epilepsy drug called valproate to teach tone-deaf adults how to find musical notes. So this is pretty amazing stuff, and these are just two examples of this kind of thing. And they actually think that there's all kinds of pills that they can give you that'll legitimately make you smarter. We did a story on rewiring your brain last week, that the internet is actually rewiring our brains because we look at phones so much. Are we going to have like are superhumans on the way? We always think it's robots that are going to take over, but you know, if enough medication is out there to change the way we think, and
The problem is always the side effects.
Yeah.
Because they always go, oh great, and then they go, but you know,
your tongue's gonna.
you got to moonwalk everywhere you go. You know, you're like, really? I got to moonwalk everywhere?
yeah.
I'd take that pill. I do love to moonwalk.
Yeah.
But no, it just feels
would take a
super
pill
creepy.
just
Like,
to
take this pill, you'll hear sounds. Take this, like, it just. But also, there's that whole thing. It says the pill helps adults learn as fast as babies do, and like, I was like, it was talking about this whole cognitive processing
Yeah.
of babies, how they process information, and I was like, really, I want to. It just seems like babies, like. I don't know, like they're like they don't seem extremely intelligent to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
But they're
my
learning,
first
and I
thought was
think
like.
Took you a year to walk?
Yeah, I'm like,
Come
5
on.
years for you to be like a complete sentence? Well, I mean, how long is this pill going to take for me to like do the Rubik's Cube or
Yeah,
something?
I think it's the rate that they're learning, considering they were in just some muck
Yeah,
for
I
9
just feel
months.
like, you know, if you're going to take a pill to rewire your brain, I would want it quicker than like 0 to 3 years.
Yeah, if you could take a pill to be smarter. So what was that movie with De Niro and
Yeah, with
whatever,
It seems creepy.
whatever,
Bradley Cooper.
and Bradley
Yeah.
Cooper?
Yeah, it was
would
great.
you want to take a pill?
Of course. What I read that was kind of cool. Again, I have kids, and it said that what you just said. It said like up to 6 or 7, they really retain a lot. And and I was like, well, I better start getting some classes for these kids. Like, I better get them some piano lessons or something. You want to just, I mean, it would be amazing if you could take a pill and just retain everything. Because how many times have we, like for example, names, touring as a comedian. How many times have I like seen somebody? I'll be at a weekend at a club, and I just keep running into the manager and the waitress and I'm just, I don't know what their names are.
I know. I'm like, I need name tags.
You know?
Immediately. Yeah. No, it is. It just feels like that really. It's that thing with America, you know? What's wrong? Take a pill, you know?
Oh,
Or you want to
yeah.
remember something, take a pill. How about you read a book? How about you know what I mean? Like, it always seems to me like super, it's always the fast cut. All right, yeah. But I mean, this study was really exciting because it would help people with like traumatic brain injuries. So I'll give you that. But like some fat ass on a couch like, well, I can't remember anything, I'm going to start popping these pills.
Right. So I will say it to the camera, I am extrapolating a bit. Yes, it was being used for medical purposes, and we're just taking it to the next step. There isn't necessarily science behind all of this. But would part of the problem be that only rich people would be, or at least wealthy people, would be able to afford this stuff? And then you're going to have not just a divide by economics, but literally a smart divide.
Yeah,
problem?
it's. I mean,
so.
hopefully, if this technology ever came to fruition, then everyone could partake in it. But
because that's how everything works, right?
Yeah,
if something good happens, everyone gets it.
well, no, but it's like, I mean, unfortunately, you're right. It's this pill culture. Like you go, oh, just take a pill and you get smarter. And the unfortunate thing is, we don't put money towards education. We don't help the poor, you know, giving them opportunity and raising them. And so you think, oh, take a pill, you're gonna get smarter. Well, you're gonna have a capacity for being smarter, but now how are they gonna get smarter if you're not teaching them? It's very complicated, the whole thing. It's just not, it's not just take a pill and things will be fine.
Yeah, but yeah, people think that way. Yeah.
All right, people, it is very complicated. People do think that way, and I hope you got a little smarter here without taking a pill, but if you were taking a pill or smoking something, whether it's an electronic cigarette or whatever else, that's fine with us too. I want to thank Erin Foley, Maz Jobrani. Their Twitterers are right down below, and we will do this again next week. Thanks for watching.